It's D-U-E-U tell. I see you by this point, you're reading my mind. It's time for football. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, man. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, yeah.
Welcome to Football Game Plan's NFL All 32 show. I am Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and today's show will be all about the Big Easy, the Who Dat Nation, the New Orleans Saints, as we start to prepare for the 2021 NFL season. We'll take a look at some training camp quick hits, reasons for optimism, as well as causes for concern, in addition to our offensive and defensive positional breakdowns as we head into the season. But first, let's take a look at some of the key storylines for the New Orleans Saints as they head into training camp as we go into our 4-minute offense. Since 2006, the New Orleans Saints had Drew Brees as their starting quarterback going into a season. The future Hall of Famer is the best quarterback in franchise history, rewriting the record books and finishing his NFL career with over 80,000 passing yards, 571 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 98.7, and a record of 172 and 114, with a Super Bowl championship as a cherry on top of that career. Not bad for a quarterback that many deemed too short for the position and not worth the risk coming off of a shoulder injury that he suffered in San Diego. Brees led the league in completions and completion percentage 6 times, passing yards 7 times, and passing touchdowns 4 times. He was a tremendous asset to the franchise that needed consistency at that position. New Orleans now embarks on the journey without its favorite patron saint. One of the key cogs up front defensively for New Orleans will get a late start to his 2021 season. Defensive tackle David Onyemata will have to serve a 6-game suspension to start the year after testing positive for a banned substance. Now, the 6-game suspension is due to him being a second-time offender, and it makes the interior defensive line a bit thinner as they lost both Sheldon Rankins and Malcolm Brown this offseason in free agency. So they will look to Malcolm Roach and Ryan Glasgow to hold down the fort until he returns. It's Jameis Winston's opportunity for redemption as he takes over the starting quarterback job in New Orleans. The former Heisman Trophy winner and #1 overall pick is looking to rewrite his career in a similar way that Drew Brees did when he came over from the Chargers. Winston has all of the physical tools, the work ethic, and football IQ to make this dream a reality for him, but it's never really been about those things for him, more so than his penchant for turnovers. And one has to figure that getting LASIK surgery, playing in a quarterback-friendly offense, and having a full season to digest the system in a turnkey offensive setup will help Jameis begin to write a new, more successful chapter in his story. I'm excited for him and this opportunity. In the 2021 NFL Draft, defense was the main focus. New Orleans spent their first 3 picks on the defensive side of the football with defensive end Peyton Turner out of Houston, linebacker Pete Werner out of Ohio State, and cornerback Paulson Adebo out of Stanford. This was very interesting considering the fact that the defense was outstanding last year, but they wanted to continue to stockpile the talent and depth on that side of the ball, which I have to say is not a bad strategy when you think about it. One has to wonder if one of those top 100 picks should have gone to a young wideout considering the depth chart that they have, but we'll see how it all plays out. We talked earlier about Jameis Winston and the opportunity that presents itself for him this year, and Sean Payton is expecting him to step in and play his role just like Drew Brees, which then allows Taysom Hill to continue to play his role as the Swiss Army knife change of pace option on offense. What Winston brings to the table that Drew Brees nor Taysom Hill does is competency and consistency in a deep passing game that has been lacking from the Saints offense the last 2 seasons, and Winston gives them that ability. The team drafted Ian Book in the 4th round, who is coming off of a stellar career at Notre Dame, and honestly his best season. He's a developmental option that Peyton loves having at the position. A new quarterback coach, Ronald Curry, who was promoted after spending time as a receivers coach since 2018, is a bright, young coaching mind who gets to have an impact on a position now that Joe Lombardi has moved on to the LA Chargers. New Orleans has a strong 1-2 punch with Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. Now, Kamara is coming off of a 16 rushing touchdown season, which felt like 20 of those came on Christmas night against the Vikings. But all jokes aside, having someone that's dangerous on both ends of offense and has a nose for the end zone like that is well worth his weight in gold. Murray is essentially the pace car in this situation and plays his role rather well. So it'll be interesting to see how Ty Montgomery's role grows within his offense this season at the position. It's going to be an interesting year out on the perimeter for the Saints. They get Michael Thomas back healthy after he had his worst season statistically as a pro after dealing with nagging injuries all last season, and I would expect him to get back to his consistent 1,000-yard receiving ways. However, his injuries did allow for both Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway to earn valuable reps and opportunities within the passing game. Both guys are expected to vie for that number 2 role opposite of Thomas. Now, Smith is in sort of a make-or-break season, while Callaway proved last year to have a sense for the sticks and making tough catches. Deontay Harris is someone I hope gets more opportunities within the regular offense. He's been dynamic with the ball in his hands as a returner and with the limited times he's had on offense, so hopefully his role expands this year with the team. Now, the Saints do have 2 big-bodied options that they've been grooming the last couple of seasons in Jawan Johnson and Lil Jordan Humphrey. Keep an eye out for rookie 7th-round pick Kawan Baker out of South Alabama. He's got ridiculous explosiveness and speed and could be their best option going deep down the field. At worst, he's their day one gunner on special teams, but I foresee him being the Devery Henderson, the Robert Meacham, and the Ted Ginn type threat within his offensive attack coming off play action. Gone is Jared Cook at tight end, but the Saints are ready for second-year player Adam Troutman to break through. I believe he's ready for that opportunity as he's a very good route runner and has good hands to where he should become the team's version of Cameron Brate for Jameis Winston. Nick Vanette and Garrett Griffin give them solid blocking options as well, just rounding out that tight end group. The Saints have the best offensive line in the NFC South. Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk are rock solid at tackle, while Andrus Peat, Eric McCoy, and Cesar Ruiz give them excellent play on the interior and really helping spearhead their run game. And look for Ruiz to make big strides in his second season, and I like how they've done a really good job from a depth perspective as well. James Hurts was good for them last year when he was called upon, and he done a solid job in developing Ethan Greenwich as well. Rookie Landon Jung out of Kentucky is a strong presence in the run game and will provide depth at tackle, while the veteran Will Clapp will do the same at center. Cameron Jordan is the Saints' cornerstone player up front and is one of the best in the game at defensive end. He was second on the team in both sacks and TFLs. Former Saint Trey Hendrickson was number 1 in both categories, and he's now in Cincinnati, which means that Marcus Davenport, rookie first-round pick Peyton Turner, and Carl Granderson will have to fill that void. Now, the club would love for that to be Davenport, who has all of the physical tools, just doesn't have the consistency. Peyton Turner, whose game is very similar to that of Davenport, was a much more polished version of him coming out of college, and he'll get ample opportunity to win that job. And I'm excited for Granderson, who was 4th on the team in sacks with 5 and fixed to serve in that role that Hendrickson did as that swing rusher coming off the edge. The team also brought in Tano Passanio, who can also kick down inside and be an interior rusher as well. Speaking of the interior, we talked earlier about Onyemata's absence for those 6 games and what that means for the depth here, but playing alongside Onyemata is Shai Tuttle, who made the team as an undrafted rookie free agent back in 2019 and started 3 games last year. He's been a pleasant surprise for the team and will try to bring that energy as a full-time starter, but how Malcolm Roach and Ryan Glasgow play early on in the season could determine how strong that run defense can be until Onyemata returns. Demario Davis has been a stud backer for the Saints since he arrived 4 years ago from the Jets. He's the model of consistency on both ends of defense. In the draft, they took Pete Werner out of Ohio State in the 2nd round, which was a surprise to me, but the Saints liken his ability to that of Alex Anzalone and see him as a healthier, potentially more consistent version of him, and we'll see if that's the case moving forward. I'm more excited to see what Zach Bond can do in his second season with the team and within his defense. He has the pass rushing chops to be a blitzing presence coming off the edge, and reserve Caden Ellis gives them solid depth, but also a core special teamer. The Saints secondary is arguably the best in the NFC South. Cornerback Marshawn Lattimore and safety Marcus Williams are amongst the best at their respective positions. Even at his big age, Malcolm Jenkins is still a valuable asset to the unit because of his savvy and his instincts. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is an up-and-comer at safety because of his matchup ability in the slot and his elite level trash talking ability that is able to consistently get opponents out of their game. He can legitimately play across the secondary. Opposite of Lattimore is where we'll see some competition, as veteran Patrick Robinson will compete for that role with rookie 3rd-round pick Paulson Adebo out of Stanford. Robinson is a bit of a liability in my eyes, especially on the outside, so I like Adebo to win that job as he's a top-tier athlete and has superb ball skills. Don't sleep on Keith Washington Jr. to factor into the mix as well. He made the squad last year as an undrafted free agent and has above average ability. And PJ Williams was re-signed as he's actually a pretty good slot defender, giving them both size and matchup ability on the inside. And Grant Haley gives them good depth here as well. One of the major reasons for optimism for New Orleans is the fact this is a team that is strong on both sides of the ball. If you're able to win up front on offense and defense, you're going to win a lot of games. You also have to be optimistic about the fact that they have top-tier talent at key positions. We're talking about a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, Alvin Kamara at running back, Michael Thomas at wide receiver, Marshawn Lattimore at cornerback, and Cam Jordan at defensive end. That's a lot to be optimistic about, as well as the fact that head coach Sean Payton will always have this team in position to win games and competitive, not just for a few weeks, but for the entire season with Super Bowl aspirations. A cause for concern would be if a bona fide number 2 option doesn't emerge opposite of Michael Thomas. That has been a quiet issue for New Orleans for quite some time. If that doesn't happen, it could really shortchange this offense. And if the complementary pass rush is just kind of average or maybe not even there, I think that's more of a detriment than finding the number 2 receiver, but both of which could be a problem for the Saints this season. Now let's take a look at some training camp quick hits, and we'll start with our camp surprises on both sides of the ball. Offensively, Kawan Baker will surprise folks with how explosive, how talented, and quietly how versatile he is. He can take handoffs in the backfield on end arounds, and he can also get deep down the field. And defensively, Keith Washington Jr. will surprise some with his play. He was talented coming out of West Virginia, had a really good week at the East-West Shrine game. I think he's going to surprise some with how much he's grown as a player within that Saints defense. And rookie impact, again, offensively, it can't be Ian Book because he's not going to play. So it kind of has to be Kawan Baker as someone that can really impact this offense. I think he's a deep threat they've been missing for quite some time. And defensively, defensive end Peyton Turner, I think, is going to make a huge impact as a rookie, as a sack artist. He's going to be that guy that's going to be that situational pass rusher. He's going to thrive in that role, as well as Paulson Adebo, the cornerback. He has tremendous ball skills. He opted out of 2020, so a lot of people just forgot about how talented he was. The Saints got themselves a steal in the 3rd round. The biggest offensive X factor is a no-brainer. It's Jameis Winston, and how well he plays determines how well this Saints team can be in 2021. I do think this guy is going to have himself a fantastic year under center for New Orleans. And Marcus Davenport is a big X factor because if he can become that co-1A pass rushing presence opposite of Cam Jordan and allow Peyton Turner to be that sack artist and Carl Granderson to serve in his role, this defensive line could be even better than it was last season. Breakout candidate offensively, Adam Troutman. Welcome to the offense. He should have been playing more last year, but he's going to get that opportunity this year to be the tight end number 1 in this offensive attack and should have a fantastic season in his 2nd year. And Zach Bond, I think, as a situational blitzer coming off the edge and helping out more so in his 2nd year, is primed for a breakout role. The road to the Super Bowl for the Saints goes as follows. If Jameis Winston plays mistake-free football, the Saints will win a ton of games. If he just protects the football and let his ability take over, we know the deep ball passing game will evolve as a result of that. Then they could definitely go far because, again, that deep passing game is something that has been missing from the Saints offense the last 2 to 3 seasons, and Winston gives them that capability coming off play action. And the defense has to remain dominant. This was a top 5 defense last year. If they could remain that level of play while also increasing their ability to get to the quarterback with a variety of different pass rushers, then this team can close out games a lot better and won't be in a lot of shootouts and find themselves getting all the way through the regular season to LA and even winning the Super Bowl. I have the Saints finishing 2nd in the NFC South. This is going to be a very good defensive football team. They're going to be able to run the football really well, and there will be a little bit of adjustment period when you have Jameis Winston stepping in for Drew Brees. So I do see them as a playoff team, a serious title contender, for finishing 2nd in the NFC South. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan's NFL All 32. I am Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts, and don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located right here at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe to Football Game Plan Podcast wherever you get your podcast from, and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating.
It's D-U-E, you tell I see you by this point, you're reading my mind. It's time for football. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, man. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, yeah.